Hey Andy,
Yes, Dale.
in school, what was a major change you've made physically or straight off the bat appearance wise where people took notice, probably for the better, but more than
Ah,
likely for the worse?
when I got my hair cut, my curly locks got took away.
So you went from Brillo pad to Caesar.
Yeah, too normal spiky, and it actually got me a woman or a girl at the time.
Nice. I gave myself frosted tips, and then people questioned my sexuality. That's neither here nor there, though. Today, we're touching base on the changes and gimmick changes for the better. Now, we're not just going to talk about face turns or heel turns or whatever. We're going to talk about straight up, hey, let's scrap that idea and then go on to the next one. I think this has been proven over history, right? Like we're talking about guys not just jumping ship, because we could do a whole subject on Dungeon of Doom and how we went from earthquake to shark. But we're going to talk about just these major gimmick changes that do they make sense and did they help out?
Hmm. Okay. So let's start then. I'm going to give you one straight off the bat. Tugboat to Typhoon.
That's a heel turn.
No, it wasn't. It was a full-on gimmick change. It might have been a heel turn per se, but the gimmicks were so far away from each other, and it made so much. It just made his career so much better that I had to push that one in.
Okay. So this is like when they look at the Dingo Warrior and they say, we have enough warriors in the wrestling business. We have the Road Warriors and we have the modern day warriors. We have the Ultimate Warrior. So you mean to tell me that instead they said, hey, Fred, you're a tugboat. You're a big man. But what we're going to do here is you're bigger than that. And you're better than that. You're going to be a typhoon.
Yeah, I think it was just literally we've got earthquake. What else goes with an earthquake? Oh, let's put a typhoon in there.
I don't know how Vince gets away with that voice. I'm feeling like a horse kicked me right in the throat.
Yeah, yeah. Right, okay, so let's have a look at another couple of ones then. So another great one. We done this thing on him not long ago. Papa
Canadian.
Shango.
What about Canadian earthquake to earthquake?
Come on, let's. If you're not going
He
to take
crossed
this
the.
serious, we'll just end it now.
I'm taking it serious. Okay, he crossed the border.
Go
So
on.
technically, he would have been the North American earthquake.
Yeah, he rolls across the border, baby. Right, so we've got Shango to Godfather. Obviously, really, really good one. Made so much of a difference. Shango is a bit of a cult hero, isn't he? You know, everybody loves Papa Shango, but the Godfather was just, it was brilliant, wasn't
Of course, yeah, but you're talking. It's like it doesn't go directly to that. So you go from Shango to Kama Mustafa, the Supreme Fighting Machine, which I thought when you look at just what that looks like now, it looks like a badass.
he? Yeah,
Like that is a badass that was built from the Do the Right Thing Spike Lee movie.
yeah,
Like he
yeah,
looked like a badass dude. He melted the urn from the Undertaker into his chains, if I recall, or he was
yeah.
going to, I think. But then you go into then he was just Kama and I am now part of the Nation of Domination because I am black. But then you look at, okay, wait a minute. Now we're evolving into the Godfather.
Yeah, yeah. And that
And
was obviously that was the money, wasn't it, for him? Another one, Isaac Yankem into Kane. Now, for me, this was a very risky one because he was coming in as Kane, the Undertaker's brother, for the feud, obviously, with the Undertaker. Now, that could have been just as bad as Yankem in the fact of it could have not been a very longevity. It couldn't have had that much longevity. But in the end, it ended up being a really good one for him, didn't it? For Glenn.
this was the greatest gimmick to me.
Mm,
This is when you have something and you try to break off like the Undertaker, like how do we make him somewhat human? Because you weren't able to do that. Because remember, he got a couple of years prior, he was in a casket match, gets buried, then rises through to the skies, like he's
mm,
ascending into heaven, and then all of a sudden, Paul Bear ends up turning on him with Mankind, so there's some sort of vulnerability to Undertaker. And then that gets squared away, obviously. But then all of a sudden, we hear about a brother of Undertaker's, and that's when you're like, oh, wait, he's got a heart.
Mm,
Like there's something there. And that's when the Kane, I mean, you needed a dance partner to go along with Undertaker.
yeah,
And this guy, it could, like you said, this could have fell on him flat, and it could have ruined uh uh
Glenn
Kane,
Jacobs.
or it could, yeah, Glenn Jacobs, the mayor. Um, but it didn't. And
No.
this is something we'll always remember. If he comes back as the giant Christmas tree, then it's full circle.
Okay, so another good one for me as well is somebody that was splashing about and he didn't really do much with Rikishi.
Mm,
So
mm.
obviously he was do the right thing,
Bloodline.
Rikishi. Yeah, and then he was also the Sultan for a while. You never seen his face or nothing, but then the Rikishi gimmick was the one that really pushed him to the next level, wasn't it?
We discussed him when we talked about the WrestleMania where he faced The Rock and Backlund was in his corner and the Sheik was in his corner,
Yeah,
and then Rocky Johnson came out to help his son, and we thought it was pretty cool to see that. The match was kind of crap, but that all worked out well.
yeah,
But up until then, we looked at Rikishi, or we looked at Fatu as just a head shrinker, but a good
yeah,
hand there and part of the BSK. And thank God he's still around and being awesome, because that's what he is. And
yeah.
he's a bloodline guy right there, technically. I'm surprised they haven't brought him in any capacity, by the way, as of right
Mm,
now. But
yeah.
I mean, Rikishi, all of a sudden it's like, do you think Vince walked by and be like, "You got a big ass"?
I
And
think it
then
was, yeah. I think from the story that I heard, apparently he loved Yokozuna, but he always wanted Yokozuna to go bareback, but Yokozuna wouldn't. So I
does
think,
bareback mean the same thing over there that it does over here?
it does, yeah, but I'm trying to be politically a mate. I'm trying to not be. So we wanted him to have a bare ass, but he wouldn't do it. And then Rikishi come along, and it was like, obviously the Bruce Pritchard and the likes, they all really rated Junior. That's where they wanted to do it with him, and he agreed to do it. And Vince was over the moon because he finally got his big arse in a in a funk.
The second or third time he came on screen and unveiled that ass and then did the stink face to somebody, guess who walks in through my door? My
Mm.
parents. They won't ever do it when somebody's cutting a promo. Instead, they'll do it when a giant man is
Yeah,
rubbing his ass inside somebody's face.
yeah. All right, well, let's move on. Do you know what? I think we're gonna have to do this in two parts because there's a lot that we can go through here. So, but Rockabilly to Badass Billy Gunn was a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much character that you have to do there. He just doesn't have to dance anymore, and then he just ends up pointing to his back like somebody else. I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
which the New Age Outlaws in general, though, wasn't it? Is they were always better in tag teams, but obviously we had the Rosie. The Road Dogg was the Rosie originally, with
Another
Jeff
one.
Jarrett and things. So it's like them two. I feel like that was the best. I mean, obviously, they're in the Hall of Fame for being members of DX in the New Age Outlaws and stuff. So it's like singular. Do you think if they would have still been doing them two gimmicks that they had early on, they would have been Hall of Famers?
Hell no. Hell
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
It's a dance partner that you're holding arms with at this point in time. I don't think
Yeah,
so. The
yeah,
best one, though, without a doubt, has to be the other side of the Twin Towers here, and that's One Man Gang going to Akeem.
yeah.
I'm just so
I,
glad
I,
he found his roots.
I can still remember the vignette that he done, the first vignette when he first come out.
That is the most unflattering outfit I've ever seen. But and you talked about this though. We touched upon how awesome Slick was as a manager and how we just get excited anytime he was there, because just like, here's this guy. He looks like that used car salesman, but man, he makes you want to buy that piece of crap that's been sitting on the lot for 4 years.
Yeah, and he also sung the song, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is that the best, the bad, the
Th-
best.
that dance from Akeem though, man.
I know. And then Slick was next to him, giving it the beans, wasn't he? But all
It's
right, guys, that is where we're going to cut it off for this one. That is for the gimmicks that were better than the original gimmicks that made the careers. We have got another session to do on this because we've got a lot more that we can do on this, so look out for part 2. But in the meantime, let us know some of your favourites in the comment section. But
And
for me,
we know Dolph Ziggler was a Spirit Squad guy.
yeah, they'll be in part 2. But for me and Dale, take care. We'll see you again next time.
Happy New Year.